You want to be great. You want to dominate. Then you got to stop thinking like a sheep and start moving like a monster. Monsters don't ask for permission. Monsters don't wait for motivation. They get up when it's hard. They grind when it hurts. They push through the pain and devour every excuse in their path. You see, the world respects strength. It bows to those who show up relentless. So, if you're tired of being overlooked, tired of being average, tired of letting fear run your life, then it's time to transform. Time to unleash what's been caged inside you. That hunger, that rage, that potential. It's been sleeping too long. Wake it up. Fuel it. Become a monster. Because only the monsters survive. Only the monsters conquer. When there's a switch inside every one of us, most people never flip it. They never tap into that next level version of themselves because they've been programmed to stay small, stay safe, stay normal. But you're not most people. See, average minds are trained to avoid pain. They're taught to wait for comfort, for opportunity, for validation. But monsters are built different. They don't wait. They hunt. A monster mentality isn't about being cruel. It's about being unbreakable. It's about locking into a purse so deep-lied that no Yo-Chin can shake you off it. Not fear, not failure, not fatigue. When you adopt a monster mentality, you stop living for approval. You stop letting opinions dictate your actions. You don't ask if it's your time. You decani it is. Let me be real with you. The world doesn't care about your excuses. It doesn't owe you a thing. So you either rise up and take control of your life or you get eaten by the game. That's the truth. Monsters don't cry over lost chances. They create new ones. Change how you think. The first transformation happens in your mind. You can't become something powerful if you're still thinking like someone weak. If your self-talk is full of doubt, hesitation, fear, you'll never rise. Monsters tell themselves the truth. I'm not where I want to be, but I'm not staying here. I'm tired, but I'm not done. I'm scared, but I'm still moving. That's monster thinking. Every morning, you wake up and you co-OC to dominate the day. You don't let the day control you. You walk into rooms like you belong there. Because you put in the war-K. Because your mindset isn't casual. It's committed. Get ruthless when you're focused monsters. Don't waste time. They don't scroll through distractions when they should be building their future. They don't talk about what they're going to do. They get it, don't he? Focus isn't about doing more. It's about doing what matters. And cutting everything else that doesn't feed your mission. You say you want success. Then you got to protect your mind from the garbage, from the laziness, from the negativity. Every moment you give to weakness is a moment stolen from greatness. So ask yourself, what are you feeding? Your excuses or your evolution? Discipline is the fuel, motivation is a spark, but discipline is the engine. Monsters don't move based on how they feel. They move based on what they committed to. You're not always going to feel like showing up, but monsters show up anyway. They train when no one's watching. They grind in silence so they can dominate in public. Discipline is doing what has to be done Even when it's cold, even when you're tired, even when no one believes in you yet. Because the monster doesn't wait for applause. They create their own fire. Kill the old you. If you want to evolve, the old version of you has to die. The one who made excuses, the one who quit halfway, the one who played small so others wouldn't feel uncomfortable. Monsters don't shrink to fit in. They risky to stand out. They know every version of themselves from the past was just the coon, and now it's time to break out. You can't carry your comfort zone into greatness. So BURNIT, destroy everything that held you back and build from the ashes. You don't need a perfect plan. You need a relentless decision. A line in the sand, never going back. Decision, embrace isolation. Then lead, this journey gets lonely. Not everyone will understand your intensity. Not everyone can walk with a monster, and that's okay. You were made to blend in. You were made to lead. There will be seasons where it feels like no one believes in you, but you've got to believe in yourself enough to keep pushing. You've got to be your own source of energy, your own source of direction. When you adopt the monster mentality, you stop begging for support. You become me, the one others look to for strength. You stop chasing crowds and you start carving your own lane through your dream. Monsters don't follow footsteps. They leave footprints so deep the world can't ignore them. Results over excuses. Excuses are the language of the weak. Results are the signature of the relentless. Every day, you've got a choice. You can either make a way or make an excuse. You can either stay in your comfort or step in your calling. The monster mindset doesn't negotiate with laziness. It doesn't entertain pity. It doesn't dwell on what went wrong. It focuses on what comes next. You're either growing or you're dying. There is no in between. So crows see growth. Choose effort. Choose domination. Final truth, becoming a monster isn't about ego. It's not about crushing others. It's about crushing the limitations inside of your ooh. It's about reaching the version of you that's locked up behind fear, doubt, and hesitation. It's about becoming the person you were meant to be. Not just for success, not just for status, but for power passing. Because the world doesn't need another average soul following the herd. It needs leaders. It needs warriors. It needs monsters. And the monster is already inside you. It's been waiting for you to stop playing soft, waiting for you to stop pretending like you're not built for more. So flip the switch. Turn the pain into fuel. Turn the setbacks into train and never look back. Become me a monster. The truth is, most people never reach their full potential because they're waiting. Waiting for someone to believe in them. Waiting for the timing to be right. Waiting for some magical green light that says, I know's the time to go. But here's the reality. There is no green light. There is no perfect moment. No one has come and tell you it's your time. You either move or you stay stuck. You either act or you rot. When you take action without permission, you stop living for validation. You stop waiting to be chosen. You stop hoping somebody notices you. You wake up and you DCA ag. I don't need anyone tell me what I'm worth. I don't need a committee to approve my dream. I don't need a round of applause before I get to work. You don't ask a gatekeeper to open the door. You kick it off the hinges. This world is built by those who move before they're ready, before they feel qualified, before they feel safe. It's built by those who go when it's dark, who build when they're broke, who speak even when their voice shakes. And when you wait for approval, you hand over your power. You tell the world, I don't trust myself enough to move until you say so. That's not how you win. That's not how you rise. That's how you die full of regrets. You don't need permission to train harder. You don't need permission to write that book, start that business, hit that gym, change your life. Stop looking around for someone to tell you it's okay to chase your greatness. Stop hesitating every time fear whispers in your ear. Fear is a liar, but action tells the truth. Action says, I believe in a vision. I believe in the grind. I believe I can shape my reality. Even when I can't yet see the results. Most people live their lives reacting. They respond to what happens instead of creating what they want. They wait for signs. But monsters don't wait. They create. They're proactive. They decide how the story unfolds because they're the ones writing it. They're not extras in the background. They're the main character. And that takes audacity. That takes courage. That takes movement. When you take action without permission, you send a message. Not just to the world, but to yourself. You say, I'm not here to play small. I'm not here to blend in. I'm not here to be liked. I'm here to build, to grow, to dominate. Every time you move without waiting, you reinforce your power. You reinforce your confidence. You reinforce your identity. Because action builds belief. Waiting, on the other hand, builds weakness. Every time you hesitate, every time you second guess, you water down your potential. You slow down the momentum that's trying to carry you forward. Your future doesn't need more time. It needs more courage. You don't need to feel ready. You need to be willing to leap. Even when your legs shake, you have to be okay with making noise, with offending comfort, with breaking the mold. People might look at you sideways when you start moving different. When you stop asking for advice and start following your gut. When you stop shrinking and start standing tall. Let them look. Let them doubt. Let them talk. Your mission isn't to be understood. Your mission is to be fulfilled. And yes, it's going to feel uncomfortable. It's going to stretch you. It's going to pull you away from the safety of fitting in. But the life you want, the one that keeps calling you in the quiet moments, is on the other side of that discomfort. The version of you who wins didn't wait to be told it was okay. They got up and moved anyway. You've been gifted with a vision for a reason. Not everyone sees it. Not everyone will understand it. That's fine. It wasn't given to them. It was given to you. So why are you looking for them to cosign it? Why are you looking for them to cheer you on? If it's burning inside you, if it keeps you up at night, if it sets your soul on fire, that's the only permission you need. Stop betraying your own dream by waiting for someone else to validate it. People will try to limit you because they're limited. They'll try to clip your wings because they're scared to fly. But you weren't meant to be caged. You weren't meant to be tamed. There's a beast inside you that's tired of being silenced, tired of being told to wait, tired of being ignored. That beast needs to be unleashed. And that only happens when you move with confidence, not caution. Your life will shift the moment you stop someday and start saying, now. The clock is ticking. The window is closing. Every minute you wait, someone else is out there taking action. Someone else is building. Someone else is climbing. Someone else is living the life you keep talking about. And the only thing separating you from them is the willingness to move. Not talent. Not luck. Not privilege. Just action. You don't need to know every step. You don't need to have it all figured out. The road will reveal itself as you walk it. Clarity comes through action. Confidence comes through action. Mastery comes through action. Stop trying to perfect the plan. Perfect your work ethic. Perfect your consistency. Perfect your hunger. This isn't about rushing. This is about owning the moment. It's stepping your dream. This is about stepping into your power instead of standing in your excuses. The only thing more painful than failure is the regret of never starting. You've already wasted enough time waiting. Now it's time to move and keep moving. Even when you're unsure, even when it's messy, even when it's slow, because progress is progress. You don't need applause. You don't need reassurance. You don't need permission. You need parapas. You need drive. You need action. Because action is a signal to the universe that you're serious. That you're not just talking. That you're not just dreaming. That you're ready to back your words with work. So don't ask. Don't hesitate. Don't explain. Don't justify. Move, build, fight, rise. There is no other way. There is no shortcut. Just relentless, unapologetic action, day after day, choice after choice, moment after moment, until one day you look up and realize you didn't just chase the dream, you became it. Pain is the entrance fee to greatness. There's no way around it. You can't fake your way to the top. And you can't shortcut your way through the grind. Everyone wants the glory, but nobody wants the process. Everybody wants the results, but they want to skip the suffering. That's not how it works. If you're serious about leveling up, if you're serious about transforming your life, then you've got to make peace with pain. You've got to shake its hand and say, let's go. Because pain doesn't mean you're broken. It means you're building. Most people tap out the second it gets hard. The second things stop feeling fun. The second comfort leaves the room. They follow it right out the door. But not you. Not if you're going to become something different, something unstoppable. You have to learn how to lean into discomfort. You have to learn how to love the grind when it feels thankless, when it feels heavy, when it feels unfair. That's the real test. That's where champions are made. Not when the lights are on, not when the crowd is cheering, but when no one's watching and the only thing you hear is that voice in your head telling you to quit. You've got to develop a different relationship with pain. You've got to stop running from it and start using it. Because pain is a teacher. It reveals your weaknesses. It exposes the soft spots. It shows you what still needs work. But most importantly, it shows you what you're capable of surviving. Every time you push through it, every time you face it head on, you grow. You get sharper, stronger, tougher. You earn scars that become armor. That's the grind. That's how you evolve. The grind is not glamorous. It's dirty. It's lonely. It's repetitive. It's boring. But it's necessary. You don't get to choose the easy route and expect elite results. You don't get to put in minimal effort and hope for maximum return. The grind is the filter that separates the talkers from the doers, the pretenders from the producers. It's the wall most people hit and walk away from. But if you want to rise, you've got to run through that wall, not once, not twice, but again and again until that wall breaks before you do. You have to show up on the days you don't feel like it. The days when your body's sore, your mind's tired, your heart's heavy, you still show up because that's when it counts. That's when it matters most. Anybody can grind when it's easy, but only monsters grind when it hurts. Only warriors grind when there's no reward in sight. Only the chosen grind in the dark with faith that one day the light will come. There will be times you feel like it's not working, like the effort isn't paying off, like you're stuck. That's part of the process. That's where most people quit. But that pain you're feeling, that doubt, that struggle, that's growth in disguise. That's the pressure building the diamond. That's the resistance shaping the warrior. You just have to stay in it. Keep swinging. Keep digging. The breakthrough doesn't come to those who wait. It comes to those who refuse to quit. Pain will test your identity. It will ask, are you really who you say you are? It will strip away the fake ambition, the shallow confidence, the surface level passion. And what's left? That's your truth. That's your foundation. And if it's solid, if it's built on something real, you'll rise. You'll keep going when others fall. Because pain isn't a barrier for the relentless. It's fuel. Understand this discomfort is not the enemy. It's the signal. It's the signal. It's the indicator that you're pushing limits, that you're moving into new territory. If it doesn't challenge you, it doesn't change you. And if it doesn't change you, it can't elevate you. So stop avoiding the hard. Stop praying for it to be easier and start preparing yourself to be stronger. You don't need less weight. You need more willpower. You don't need the path to be smoother. You need your mindset to be harder. The grind will demand more than you think you have. It'll take your time, your energy, your sweat, your tears, and then ask for more. It'll break your routines, test your commitment, stretch your patience. But through it all, it gives you something in return. It gives you pride. It gives you clarity. It gives you power. There is no better feeling than knowing you outworked the doubt. That you stayed when quitting felt easier. That you pushed past what you thought was your limit. Pain builds character. The grind builds discipline. Together, they forge greatness. Everyone wants the outcome, but not everyone wants the process. So ask yourself, Are you here to impress people? Or are you here to transform? Are you here to play games, or are you here to dominate? The grind doesn't care about your excuses. The pain doesn't care about your feelings. Either you rise or you run. Either you dig deep or you stay shallow. The choice is always yours. Most people keep restarting because they keep running from the pain. Every time it hurts, they pause. They retreat. They go looking for something easier. That's why they never build momentum. That's why they stay in the same cycle, year after year, always beginning, never finishing. But if you want to break that pattern, you got to finish things. You got to sit in the fire long enough to become fireproof. You've got to go through the storm until it bows to you. And don't expect people to understand your grind. Don't wait for anyone to clap for your consistency. The grind is quiet. Pain is personal. But your results, they'll speak so loud, the world won't be able to ignore you. You want separation. You want to stand above the rest. Then outlast them in the suffering. Outlast them in the reps. Outlast them in the nights when no one is watching and you're still out there working. This life is going to punch you in the mouth. It's going to knock you down. But every hit is a chance to rise stronger. Every setback is a setup for a comeback. Every ounce of pain is a lesson, a tool, a fire starter. If you let it break you, you weren't built for this. But if you let it build you, if you let it mold you, then there's nothing you can't handle. You've got to stop being afraid of the grind. Stop tiptoeing around effort. Stop trying to feel good all the time. You weren't made to be comfortable. You were made to conquer. Comfort is a slow death. The grind is where you come alive. The pain is where you find your edge. Your calling is for just in the fires of discipline and discomfort, not in the lounges of convenience. Every early morning, every late night, every moment of doubt you push through, every mile you run when your legs scream, every rep you complete when your arms shake, every chapter you write, every dollar you save, every decision you make when no one is watching. That's the grind. And those are the moments that define you. So embrace it. Don't flinch. Fold. Don't fake. This is where the real ones are made. And if you want to stand at the top, if you want to look in the mirror and see a monster looking back at you, then you have to earn it not once, not occasionally, daily, consistently, ruthlessly, relentlessly. That's the price. And if you're willing to pay it, there's nothing you can't become. You cannot rise in an environment that's designed to keep you average. Your surroundings matter. What you allow into your life, what you hear, what you see, what you tolerate, it all shapes who you become. You can have the discipline, you can have the talent, you can have the hunger, but if you stay planted in the wrong soil, you will never grow into what you were born to be. If you surround yourself with doubt, negativity, and small-mindedness, don't be surprised when your mindset shrinks to match it. Control your environment like your life depends on it, because it does. Your environment isn't just physical, it's mental, emotional, and spiritual. You've got to be ruthless about who and what you allow into your space. Are the people around you building you up or breaking you down? Are they pushing you forward or pulling you back? Do they challenge your excuses or do they participate in them? You need to take inventory and cut off anything that weakens your fire. There are voices that will convince you to stay comfortable. There are people who will mock your ambition, water down your vision, tell you're doing too much. Not because they want the best for you, but because your grind reminds them what they're not doing. Your growth makes them uncomfortable. Your elevation highlights their stagnation. So they try to pull you back to their level where it's safe, familiar, average. But you weren't built for that. You weren't built to blend in. You weren't made to be acceptable. You were made to be exceptional. And exceptional people live in intentional environments. You have to create a space that reflects your goals, not your past. Look around. What's in your room? What's on your playlist? What's on your screen? What kind of conversations are you having? What kind of energy are you feeding off? Everything you interact with is either sharpening you or softening you, strengthening your focus or stealing it. You think it's just noise, just entertainment, just harmless distraction. But every little thing is casting a vote for who you're becoming. If you want to become a monster, then your environment has to be built like a battlefield, not a playground. You've got to be around people who speak life into your mission, who hold you accountable when you slip, who remind you of your power when you forget. If all you hear is gossip, complaints, and negativity, then eventually that becomes your language too. Your circle becomes your mirror. And if the reflection doesn't match your vision, it's time to change the frame. There's nothing noble about staying loyal to environments that are killing your potential. Too many people stay in rooms out of guilt, fear, or comfort. They lower their standards to keep the peace. They shrink themselves to avoid judgment. But every second you spend in the wrong atmosphere is energy being drained from your purpose. Your time is your most sacred currency. Stop spending it in places that bankrupt your drive. This isn't about arrogance. This is about alignment. You don't cut people off because you think you're better. You cut them off because you're committed to getting better. You set boundaries not to be cruel, but to stay clear. You don't owe anyone an explanation for protecting your vision. Some people will call it selfishness, but those are the same people who never built anything real. Builders know the truth. You cannot construct greatness in chaos. And sometimes it's not even the people. Sometimes it's the habits, the routines, the invisible scripts you've accepted, the late nights that steal your mornings, the scrolling that steals your focus, the comfort foods, the clutter, the noise. You've got to clear it out. You've got to strip your environment down to the essentials. Discipline, focus, drive, execution. Everything else is a distraction disguised as relaxation. You want to win, then you need an environment that screams win. Your home needs to reflect your hustle. Your schedule needs to reflect your priorities. Your conversations need to reflect your goals. You cannot train like a beast in a zoo. You need a jungle edge. Pressure. fire. Stop watering down your surroundings to accommodate your old self. That version of you is gone. You've got new standards now, and they require new soil. This also means becoming intentional with your inputs. Books, podcasts, audio, visuals. You are being programmed every single day. If you're not choosing the program, it's being chosen for you. And most of what the world feeds you is designed to pacify you, not empower you. Comfort content, fear-driven headlines, surface level motivation that never lasts past the next scroll. You need to flood your space with content that ignites your will, that teaches you how to move, that reminds you of your mission when the world forgets it. You've got to build a fortress around your focus, a defense system around your dreams. Because distractions are predators and your time is prey. Every time you leave your environment vulnerable. Unguarded devices, unfiltered conversations, unchallenged laziness. You invite mediocrity in like a guest. You let it sit on your couch, and before long, it takes over your house. You want to change your life. Change the conditions you live in. Build an ecosystem for excellence. This also means taking control of your physical state. Clean your space. Organize your day. Fuel your body like a machine. Move with energy. Dress with purpose. This might seem small, but it's foundational. You can't build an empire if the foundation is cluttered, chaotic, and weak. Your space reflects your standards. If your environment is lazy, your life will follow. If your environment is sharp, your actions will sharpen too. You also need solitude, silence, time with no noise, no distractions, no interruptions. Because monsters are built in solitude. Clarity is born in the quiet. Most people are so plugged in, they never get to hear their own thoughts. They're living in a fog of other people's voices, expectations, and limitations. That's why they're lost. You've got to disconnect from the noise long enough to reconnect with your vision. Carve out space to breathe, to think, to plan, to realign. And if your current environment can't be changed overnight, change what you can. Start small. One drawer, 1 hour of your day. Find pockets of control and dominate them. Use what you have, where you are, and turn it into a training ground. Because even a prison can become a palace if the mindset is right. The grind doesn't care where you start. It cares how you move. So set the tone, light the fire, or build the atmosphere that demands excellence from you every single day. And if something doesn't belong in that world, cut it loose. Whether it's a friend, a show, a habit, a conversation, if it drains you, delete it. This is your life, your purpose, your climb. Nobody else is going to protect it for you. You've got to be intentional. You've got to be fierce. And you've got to remember, you don't rise by accident. You rise by design. And that design starts with your environment. You've walked through the fire. You've faced the mirror. You've heard the truth. Now it's time to decide it. Will you stay the same or will you rise? The world doesn't need another person playing small. It doesn't need another voice echoing doubt. It needs you. Unapologetic, relentless, transformed. You were not born to blend in. You were born to stand out, to break chains, to shatter limits, to become a force so fierce that mediocrity trembles at your presence. Remember, the monster isn't a beast to be feared. It's a warrior to be unleashed. It's the part of you that refuses to quit, that thrives in adversity, that turns pain into power. So, step into the arena, embrace the grind on your journey, and let the whirlwind is the rise of a monster